Greetings. You are in for a treat right here, right now on the C Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. So delighted that you're here live. Thank you. Thank you. And enjoying our replay. Today's topic is so timely, so important. We get the great privilege, and I'll introduce formally Kris Miller in a moment. But today's topic is how do we build confidence in our financial futures and free income that we will never outlive. Really important, not only for us, but also for our clients, because we are coaches, consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders. We're in the world of serving our clients and having our clients serve us as well. So, just want to let you know today's program is fantastic. I've had a little sneak preview, so you are going to really enjoy our time with Kris today. And I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of this marvelous council and the C Suite Network Women's Corporate Coaching and Consulting Council as well. I'm an author, speaker, longtime coach since 1998. And most importantly, I like to say, ballroom dancing partner to my beloved husband, Michael. Most important. Want to also just quickly do a shout out and thanks for Sonia Jante's program. Our last program was absolutely marvelous. She led us through an assessment that we can do, and you can download it. If you watch the replay, you'll be able to see the link on how to get this great assessment to move into 2024 with more power, more velocity, more clarity. Really great. And at the very end, the acknowledgments and appreciation of Sonia are world class. It was great. Just to even watch it for everything that Sonia shared. It was great. And of course, we just did a program on the three keys to increase your confidence, cash, and clients now and into Q1. That program is the roadmap to success. So go to our YouTube channel. You'll see all of our programs. We're now up to, I think, about 145 videos. And of course, Christina DiGiacomo, you're on our broadcast today too. You have been esteemed faculty. Your programs, I will say, are the highest and most viewed on our YouTube channel. So many thank you to you, Christina, for sharing your whole tech and AI perspective. And so thank you. Okay, as we move in, we're this amazing time of the year, switching from 2023 to 2024. It's a time of optimism. It's a time for opportunity. And so the timeliness of our program today, that's what we pride ourselves in, is just in time, serving you with great experts, great thought leaders, great ideas that you can use now to maximize your success. And so we know that as thought leaders, coaches, and consultants, we're not going to just put our head in the sand. We want to be the lighthouse. We want to be the person, the go-to person with strategies, tactics, listening, skills, services that people can come to us in the midst of any type of storm, personal, professional storm, wherever they're at in their business, wherever they're at in their life. We are that lighthouse. And so I would love to formally introduce and invite our speaker today. We picked the best of the best in our council, and I'd like to read for you that Kris Miller is our guest speaker today. She's a celebrated legacy wealth strategist, and she's a safe money expert. We are in great hands with Kris today, and her clients love her. We know this. We have talked to so many of her clients, her tribe, her global community, because she has such an inspiring journey from adversity to success as a #1 best-selling author. She's a podcast host. I am so delighted to have been on her podcast, Money 911 with Kris Miller, C-Suite Network, great radio program. And you take people, Kris, through times of uncertainty to take them to times of certainty, prosperity, abundance. And Kris has also safeguarded the financial futures of over 6,000 families. Take that in, friends. 6,000 families, protecting their assets from exceeding $500 million through her mastery in safe money strategies, estate planning, and living trusts. The big trifecta of the things that we must know, and we must serve our clients to know these kinds of things and to be connected to experts like Kris. Kris's pragmatic approach to financial well being has made her an indispensable mentor in managing financial complexities. She's committed to empowering individuals. And Kris is not only a visionary, but she's also a guide and a mentor in securing financial legacies. Her latest program, Create Income That You Will Never Outlive, presents effective strategies to build confidence and capabilities to your financial future in the midst of global uncertainty. So, with that, let's welcome to our global stage Kris Miller. Thank you. Maybe take yourself off mute. Let's give Kris a round of applause. Thank you.
All
And
right.
Kris,
Thank
we're going to come
you.
over and switch over to your magnificent slides. How's
All
that?
right. That's fabulous.
We're
Fabulous.
we're
Fabulous.
in for a treat, friends. We are in for a treat. So, Kris, please go ahead. The podium is yours, dear.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathleen. It's exciting to be here and let's see, I'm gonna move this forward here. Mm, and I think I have to get the little remote control going back again. Request.
Yeah.
There.
Friends, we're doing something really high tech here. Wait till you see Kris's presentation that she's prepared just for you. We're
Yeah.
doing something a little high tech here. Behind the scenes, we'll do a little debrief sometime, but this is
Right.
great.
Right. Okay. Yep. Well,
Here we go.
whoops. Sorry about that. Little delay. Okay, well, like you said, we're just improvising here. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Oh, so handling our money and money management is like it's everything that you have. It's like juggling fire. It's everyone that you love, like walking on thin ice. There is so much to it. And it is like opening Pandora's box because it's all at risk. And, we get together and we want to, it really doesn't have to be this way, but during the holidays, you know how we used to have the Christmas parties and then everybody, the family get together and put these little Jenga pieces. That's like our financial pieces of your 401ks and your IRAs and the economy and inflation and taxes, and you're putting these things, but it's so fragile. And so what I like to show people is how to make it solid, how to create income you'll never outlive. So this is not something that I'm just, experimenting with. Like Kathleen said, I've been doing this for over 33 years. So I basically have owned what I sell, and I've been very blessed. So I put all this together in about year 25. I realized I was doing something quite different than the average person. Put it in my, Amazon #1 bestseller, and after a time, I kind of stepped back. I could see that what I had found were 3 secrets for safe money and a fabulous future. And I don't care whether you're a multimillionaire or you're paycheck to paycheck, people have holes in their boats. So my gift is to show people how to never lose a dime in the stock market. So those that have worked with me have never lost one dime, and I'm pretty proud to say that. So there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of illness and fear and angst that people have around money. Imagine that. And, are you paying too much for taxes? What's going to happen in the political environment? What's going to happen with the wars? What's going to happen with this? Are your assets protected? And that is a subtle thing that's always in our minds, even if we're not even conscious of it. And the problem is there is so much information. The information that you go to one channel, it's a recession. The other people say, oh no, inflation is over. And so it's very conflicting, and it's really hard to find out what is going on. It's like a jungle. It's all the pandemics and the shifts. So who can you trust? What can you do? Well, there are solutions, and that's what I'm pretty proud to be able to share with people. But we're swimming across the other side of the swimming pool called life, right? And what's underneath? These are the gators that are trying to attack us before we get there. Well, we want to get there in one piece, but they are watching us 24/7. So we want to get around that fear and the hidden dangers that are below the surface. You see, your assets are your assets, right? We want to make them bulletproof. So there's three things that I focus on. I say three secrets. It's not secret. It's just nobody talks about it. So we have taxes, inflation. That's pretty obvious. That's really hitting us. The catastrophic illness is something that nobody wants to talk about because it's unless you've had it in your own life, it's just, when you're 30, it's hard to imagine what it's like when you're 60, let alone when you're 80. So, but 7 out of 10 of us have that problem. And then, of course, the missing legal protections, having the right paperwork and making sure your assets are protected. Now, there's an elephant in the room. I don't know if you've noticed it, and it's a hard conversation. That's why I like to say healthy money, happy life, to change the energy around the fear of money. But that big elephant is that we eventually do leave Earth, okay? And there are things that we want to create a living legacy now. I show people how to create legacies after, but also show them how to do legacies now, to live your legacy now, to never have to worry about outliving your money. So it's better to be safe. It's better to make sure that you have a good portion of your assets safe. Now, with the world changing, with all the new AI and the new healthcare things, people are going to live longer in our lifetimes to 100, 120 even, with all of these new technologies. So here's a question. Will your assets last as long as you will? And that's why I've created the program, Create Income You'll Never Outlive. And it's pretty exciting because I'm actually the example of it. I've had my program for over 30 years. And, like I said, will your money survive these gators that are all trying to get you? The taxes, the tax that nobody talks about, which is inflation. Goodness gracious, when you go buy your food, groceries, it's pretty obvious. Then there's a problem with your IRA, with your 401k. It's not worth as much as you think. And all of these things we really can deep dive down on other times, but let me just tell you simply, when you withdraw your retirement account from qualified money, you're going to owe that at ordinary tax. That's right. And say 40%. So say if you have 1 million or even 100,000, you're going to lose. You're only going to have 60, right? So there's a whole conception that you have to, when you're looking at your plan, it isn't just one time, it's the whole sequence. There's a solution I'm really excited about. It's called the IRA Reboot. And what it does, it literally lets you convert your qualified money into tax-free income. So let's say you have 1 million and you can add or subtract zeros. You're able to take that money and move it into an account that will actually protect it. So like I told you, If you leave it where it is, your million is only going to be 6 or 700,000. So what I show you is how to literally be able to protect that so that you can have the tax-free income for life. And so over a systematically 3 to 5 to 10 years, you can transfer that money into what's known as index universal life. And it's like life insurance, so you're on a tax-free chassis. That means all the money is going to come out tax-free. And I've set these up for people that you can create tax-free income for life. That's right, tax-free. Not only income, but inside of these things, they have catastrophic illness protection. So you can literally take 2% of the death benefit to protect you from catastrophic illness. Of course, tax-free wealth. So it builds cash, builds income, and it protects you from all of those high risks and challenges. Now, there's several ways that you can defer taxes. Another one of my favorite is called equity index annuity. So it's like a savings account with an insurance company. And these are incredible. At the time of this recording, some of these products are at 10 to 15%. And what they do is they catch the index of the market. So if the market goes down, your money never loses a dime. If it goes up 2%, you get 2%. If it goes down 2%, nothing happens. So you are catching the upside of the market with no market risk. Muni bonds, I'm not really a fan. Decades ago in the 90s when I started, that's how a lot of retirees lived. But I really don't want to invest in bankrupt cities anymore, if you know what I'm saying. So my favorite are index universal life and the traditional tax deferred annuities. And what I do is I work on customizing what your plan is. It isn't a product. It's how does everything that you already have work together. And what we want to do is eliminate taxes so you can ride on the high side with this inflation. So the IUL gives you no federal, no state, no social security, so your money grows 3 times as fast. And what's exciting about that is that you're going to get interest on your principal, interest on your interest, and interest on the money you would have paid in taxes. That's right, it grows 3 times as fast. These little subtle things can protect the money, grow the money, and eliminate taxes. Well, you guys might have seen this guy, right? Well, I grew up with him, and he's still performing, which is fine, and he probably has an annuity, but you can't defer aging. But you can defer taxes, right? And depending on how you set it all up, it will give you what I call peace of mind. When you have your estate in order, it gives you peace of mind because you're going to get safety. You don't lose your principal. You're going to get liquidity. You can get at your money when you want to. The tax advantages, no probate, and your money's protected if, God forbid, you end up in a nursing home. Now, there are different kinds of annuities. I won't deep dive too much into it because it definitely is all depends on you, your age, your health, what your goals are. But then again, do you want less tax or more money? Yes, most people are going to say more money. Now, that triple compounding is going to let the money grow and it's going to allow you to have this income that you will never outlive. Now, the PhD of planning is where will your money be when you retire? Will it be taxable or tax-free? What do you think? Do you think things are going to be higher? Do you think that I've heard even today that they're going to start to raise the interest rates? They've already scheduled 3 or 4 next year. What do you think that's going to do to the economy? You paying attention? Most people, we're all just busy working on our businesses. We don't really take a lot of time out to study money. And that's why I'm here. So I'm your concierge here to take you through troubled waters. And just simply put, when you look at where your money's going to be at the end of the life, you're going to have capital gains right now at 8%. And your stocks, your mutual funds, sale of your business, real estate, all of those are going to be big tax bombs. Then all your qualified money, your IRAs, your 401ks, those get taxed out at ordinary income, 40%, right? So what you think you have is not worth what it really is when you get to that time in life. Now, the other ways that you can get around the taxes are, well, I'm not, like I told you, not a big fan of the muni bonds, not a big fan of the Roth RA. Nothing wrong with the Roth, but it's limited. And if you make over 100,000 as an individual or 160 as a family, you're not allowed to get it. And then where is it invested? In the Wall Street casino. So because I've done this for decades and I step back and I see 10, the first 10 years back in the 90s, they were living off their interest in a bank. It was like 12%. Someone could have 100,000 in the bank and they could live off of that. Then in the end of the 90s and 2000, the crash hit. And people came back in my office and they were eating peanut butter and crackers because their broker did not protect their assets. You don't want to be in the roulette wheel of the Wall Street casino. Now, I'm not saying you have to be totally at it. You have to be proportionally set up so your assets are protected and you get into as much tax-free. I don't really like to talk about this alligator because honestly, my family's been the nightmare of my business. And so because my mom allowed me to share this, I always get a little emotional, but she empowered me. She came up to me, honey, and she handed me this piece of paper. Honey, share this with your clients. And she started crying, and I'm almost on the edge right now. What, Mom? What? When I looked at it, it was a bill for 5 days of chemo. Guess how much it was? $90,000. She had 5 days of chemo every month for a year. Do the math. $1 million is not a lot. Well, my daddy, he was brilliant. He went to Caltech with Einstein was one of his teachers. So he was brilliant. He was a genius and he did very well. He had multi-millions. But he did not understand catastrophic illness, had no long-term care. And when I mentioned it gently to him, because I really never wanted to push it on him, Mom had a few years of being cancer-free. He was like, no, I'm never going to a nursing home. And my mom was like, honey, this is good. But they didn't get it. They went through millions of dollars. And thank God they had it. I never expected it. I'm glad they had it. But this is not the way that I want to plan. This is not the way I want you guys to plan. And $1 million, if you think you have $1 million, that's going to cover it. It's not. Look at the healthcare expenses last year compared to this year, and then with the lockdowns and pandemics. So you want to expect the unexpected. Be prepared so you're not living in a subtle fear. 3 out of 100 people have a fire in their home. Like I live in California, 18 out of 100 have a car accident, and 7 out of 10 will need long-term care. The saddest thing about it is when I ask people, how many people have their money protected in a long-term care? 2% of everybody in this country. It's crazy. I spoke in Washington, D.C. to the U.S. Financial Officers Association. I mean, these are the guys, the directors that handle the billions and trillions. I said, how many of you guys have long-term care? 2% of that room answered. And I said to the director, well, what's going on? You guys are the government. I was trying to be cute. He did not laugh. And he said, well, we're busy handling other people's money. And then I just leaned in on him. Well, you know what? That's all of us. We're busy living. We're busy building our businesses. We're putting all of our money back in the businesses. So we're all guilty of that. And there's no blame. Why? Well, you go to school. You learn how to make money. You get out of school. What do? You go make money and give it to somebody else to gamble, because it's like a roulette wheel. Unless you really understand how this is going to work and how is it going to be up or down when you retire, that's how you want to be able to see the whole plan. Now, there's a lot of rumors about they're expecting, they're even talking about taxing people that don't have long-term care. Some states actually charge the heirs if a person's in a nursing home and didn't pay all their bills, they go after the kids. There's so much to this. It wipes out so many estates, and it's very emotional because, like I said, my family is the nightmare of my business. But if you end up in a nursing home, they can go anywhere from $7,000 to $30,000 a month. And I got to tell you, I don't know the stats to this, but I seen more people lose their assets before they leave Earth in probate, right? Not having the right legal protections, nursing homes, catastrophic illness, and the Great Recession. And it's sad, and it's nobody's fault. People just aren't being taught. So that's why I'm empowered. I started 3 decades ago, and I was a paralegal, and I was working with an attorney, and we had a little widow, and all she had was a car and a house and no money. And the attorney wanted to charge her $5,000 in 1991, 92. And she left the room, and I said, "Hey, could you give her a deal?" He looked at me like I was nuts. And you know what? I was out of there. And that's what started my business, because I thought about, like, hey, I don't want to work my whole life and lose everything to the courts or the government. And so I got inspired. And you know what? I want to make this easy for people to get this. So what I did was, back at that time, and I was in the gray area as a paralegal. Now, living trusts have been around since the Middle Ages, and only the wealthy knew about it. So I started giving educational workshops. And I was one of the first paralegals to do this. I wasn't giving legal advice. What happened was, there was a big trend. I'm not bragging, but I was one of the first. And the state bar had to make a designation for us because there were so many paralegals going, "Hey, I'm doing all the paperwork and the attorney's getting the money." So they ended up creating a designation so they can get more CE credits and bonds and money. And I'm called an LDA. I'm a legal document assistant. I have a picture ID with the state bar. So I do everything that attorneys do, but give you legal advice. And certainly you know who to leave what to who and how, right? So it's been a real blessing. And I've been able to wrap my clients in a blanket, like I call it, a blanket of protection, having the right legal documents. A living trust is not just the end of the life document. It's an estate. An estate is a living thing. It's all the assets that you have, and they're always changing. So you have to learn to put those assets in the trust. They help you control the distribution of your estate. They minimize the fees and taxes that are imposed upon you, and avoid probate. What's probate? Courts. What do courts take? Attorneys. What do attorneys take? Money. Right. I heard you. Money. And now, another thing that a lot of people do, look, when you're 20, it's really, or 30, and you have kids, and mom and dad go out to dinner and don't come back, who's going to take care of the kids? Look, when I was 20 and 30, that's the big elephant in the room. I never thought I would die. It's hard for me to even imagine that in my sixth decade, okay? I just don't feel that. It's hard to imagine, but you've got to think into it and protect your children and have the right paperwork, guardianships. And so a good living trust will have a guardianship for minor children, conservatorship if you become incapacitated. Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to handle all of those things? And you want to make sure that you're not drowning in the taxes and fees that are imposed upon you. And it can be scary, because you know what? You can't take it with you. So that's why I encourage my clients to leave a living legacy. Make sure that you are able to have your assets create generational wealth and what you want to contribute to the world. I experienced halfway through my blessed life where I literally was able to create a legacy where I could take all the information that I've learned over this time and be able to show people how to create income they'll never outlive. And I've been able to have this program. I don't know why it's not, there it is, moving forward. Okay. So I want to make sure that you guys are going to be able to protect your assets and make sure you have the right legal documents. A good living trust will make sure that you have assets, powers of attorney for financial, powers of attorney for healthcare. And hey, if you didn't get that in the pandemic, get it now. Make sure you're prepared. Don't put these things off. This is just as important as everything. Now, I'm going fast because I got so much to share, but this is an old story. She did nothing. She had a few million. She had a will, and she ended up going through probate for 18 years. Her heirs ended up with about $100,000. And you really be shocked to know. Check it out. Look at all these people. None of them had a living trust. Many of them are in probate right now. Very sad. You would think that they would when you look at their names, but they weren't. Their planner did not even give them the foundation of protection. And all of these are very sad stories when you deep dive and look into it. So the strategies that you want to make sure that you have. When you have a living trust, you're going to put all the assets inside of your trust. So your trust, your assets are in the name of your trust. And then your powers of attorney are going to be able to control that if you become incapacitated. People ask me all the time, how come people don't know about this? And I'm shocked still at this time. A lot of people know about it, but they put it off. All this conversation that I talk about is the most procrastinated kind of thing. People want to talk to me. They even sign up to talk to me, and then they don't show up for their appointment, or they make me chase them because nobody wants to. It's a deep dive, but you've got to take time. You'll find that healthy money gives you a happy life because you won't be worrying about it. Now, other strategies that I've briefly talked about is the living will, and that just basically says you don't want artificial life support if you become incapacitated. And I've told you about the powers of attorney for financial. If I break my leg skiing, someone can pay my bills for me. And then healthcare. I'm a big fan of making sure my healthcare is really built up, protected. I like alternative medicine and I like different things. So I want to make sure that my health care and who handles that is going to be on record to make sure that I get those new treatments that I'm interested in. So again, an estate of mind, when you have all of your affairs in order, it will give you that peace of mind knowing your money is safe. And so where do we go from here? Now, I've talked about the three things that I'm focusing on, and I'll tell you, you may have two of those three things. You may have, most of the time, I find there's something most people are missing. Maybe they've got all their money in the stock market, or maybe they don't have the catastrophic illness, or maybe they do have a living trust, but it's been a while since they updated. And so what I do is I do financial fitness strategy sessions with people. And, not that I encourage you to put your trust in money, but I do encourage you to put your money in trust, right? Like Oliver Wendell Holmes says. It gives you the peace of mind of knowing that it is secure. And the financial fitness strategy, like I said, is something that I really enjoy doing with people. So I hop on, I do this all over the country, and we hop on a Zoom and I ask you your age, your health, your wealth. You know what? I don't charge you for this. And there's people, in my wonderful C-suite group is saying, you don't charge for this, right? No, Kelly has her mouth open. Jeffrey gets on my case. I eventually, because as I roll out my new course program, Create Income, I actually have a course. I will be changing that because I'll have less time. So right now, I'm offering this complimentary financial fitness strategy. We hop on the phone, takes about 20 minutes. I ask your age, your health, your wealth. Then I go back, I research everything that I've been talking about, customize for you. And guess what? I give you a class. We'll hop on another Zoom. I'll show you literally what I'm talking about. Then I send it all to you. Then you can review it, and then we can hop back on another Zoom or a phone and you can ask me questions. Pretty generous, right? The only thing I ask you is you tell your friends because it works. I'm a living proof, right? I'm a living testimony of what I've been doing for 33 years. Remember, it wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. And it's kind of like that because when the sun's out, it's hard to imagine that anything bad would happen. And I'm going through that right now. And it's really, really important to remember it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep. And taking the time out to not only prepare for yourself, but share with your family and teach the children. I have really great things for kids that they can create this tax-free income at a younger age. You know what? I had a kid, I say a kid, 38, and this is even people that don't have a lot of money. He put $500 in a month, and at retirement, he got 80 to $100,000 tax free for life. So with normal longevity or longer longevity, he'll literally get a million to a couple $1 million in tax-free money. And that money obviously is worth more because you're not paying taxes on it. So you don't have to have multi-millions to be able to start these programs. And depending on your age and health and wealth is what I will do and show you with your financial fitness strategy session. So like I said, I'll go back there again. Meet with Kris Miller. That's, you can just hop right on there. That hops you on my calendar. And then I'll get to meet you in person and talk to you and share all these good things with you. And then I am getting ready to launch, thanks to the C-Suite Network and all my friends there. I'm getting ready to launch. I've been working on this for several years, maybe almost a decade now. Because when I got to year 25, I realized, what I do is so unique. This is my legacy. And I'm going to I have created a transformational financial literacy program. There are 50 videos in here. This is a 2 to 3 month program where I literally hop on with you every week. A trust is included in here, but the education is in here. So this is a very cool thing that you can literally teach your children, teach your family, share it with everyone. And there's 7 modules in it. It's really exciting. And I'm just going to share a little bit about it because we'll be launching another webinar that's just about this, where we'll pull back the curtain and do some more deep dives into the 3 secrets that I've been blessed, thanks to Kathleen, to be able to share this with you today. The create income you'll never outlive. But you can go to startcreateincome.com and sign up now. So when we launch it, you'll be able to get in, because literally we're going to only allow 10 people for the first beta test there. Okay. Beta test meaning you're going to get more live with me. We're going to have more interaction. So again, I'm really thrilled and honored to be able to share all of this with you. If you want the financial fitness strategy session, you can hop on, and get started right away. Then just meet with krismiller.com. And then again, if you want to make sure that you're going to be in queue for the Create Income program you'll never outlive, then start createincome.com. You can hop on both and we'll get to know each other, and we'll be able to empower you to have a fabulous future and create income you'll never outlive.
Kris Miller, holy moly.
And I
Fan.
know I had so much to share. I was like,
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I That was so incredible. And I think, your ability to then just slow everything down, and I'm going to book my strategy session with you to be able to say, like, what's the next step? What's the next step? Because there's so much, overwhelm, I think, is the enemy of the next step action. And, I'm also curious, how do you deal with people who are, you know, there's so much, I don't know what to do first. I mean, how do you handle that? Because I think, can you all
Yeah,
relate to this? There's a lot here.
yeah,
Our parents never taught us this stuff,
exactly.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a perfect question. And that's been I've been blessed with that. I would say people would say, "Who's your target market?" I would go, busy CEOs and entrepreneurs, because I'm running along with you, like, because I know how busy you are, Kathleen, but I'm tenacious, and I have such great follow-up, but I'm able to dial in when I do the financial fitness strategy session. I find out the pain points, but I also see the future pain points. So when we're cruising along, and I'm with you for life. So when you do something with me, and I don't charge you for that, because I hate that I'll just say the masculine model of the money is very hard and stiff. So I wanted to make it more energetic and more heartful. And so I wanted to create the right mindset around the money, because I spend more time with the mindset with people than actually filling out applications, like, oh, my husband always banked at this bank. I'm like, okay, but it's time to move now, right? So I'm able to dial in that. And you know what? We take one thing at a time. So we'll start, hey, this is the hot button right now. Let's work on this. And these are things that we can work on and in your flow. So I'm kind of like Tai Chi. I go with you in the flow. And some people are like, "Hey, I have a 911. We need to do this fast." Well, I'm right with you, because I can do it fast, or we can just take one thing at a time. So it's perfect. It's the perfect way. And I'm grateful for it, because it is a blessing. Probably it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I've done this thousands of times, so it's intuitive for me.
Wonderful. And you have the systems and the
Yeah.
processes to
Yes.
take people by the hand step by step, which is really terrific.
Yes. And that's
Yes.
what you said, the systems, because, it's like the Pandora box, when, that slide of all of those things. That's what we don't understand, is the systems that we put into place. And then it's automated. It's a lot less work than that other system where you're gambling the money and you're watching the news and what if this happens, right? It's so much more peaceful.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Kris. So, questions, and then we'll do a quick wrap up of our time together. Burning questions, things that you'd like to ask. Yes, Christina, thank you.
So thank you so much, Kris. I'm actually like, I love personal finance. I can't wait to do my monthly budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm actually budgeted for the next like month or two because I just love doing it.
right.
And I also, want to share sort of a financial milestone. I just paid off my student loan debt. So
Yay.
I'm officially debt free. I have no debts.
Yay.
So
Awesome.
I just feel really awesome. I am curious about the universal insurance. So I'm just kind of feeding back my understanding of what it is. So it's an insurance policy that within it, so you pay for it or you put money into it, and within it, there's sort of an investing mechanism such that the money grows over time and builds up some kind of equity, or some sort of, you get equity in this in this life insurance. And if I die, it goes to somebody. But if I'm still alive, um and I want to cash out or take out some of the equity that's been building up, I would be able to use that money or withdraw a portion of that money tax free. Do I have
Good.
that
You got it. You're good. You're good. You
right?
got it. Now let me just make it a little more simpler. Is
Okay.
what they do. My case designer used to run a hedge fund. So if you go to any insurance agent, they don't know how to do this. There are some that do, but this is proprietary. So what they do is they blow the death benefit death benefit up for what's called an accelerated living benefit. So you literally can live off the death benefit while you are alive. And then you can customize these. So you could say, okay, right now I can start with this much money. And then you can foresee like, in the next couple of years, my business is going to take up, then I can increase this. So you can literally customize this. You could retire at 50. You can design this so that you can start to take tax-free income that pays you for life. It doesn't stop. And if there's something left over, then it's a death benefit. But there's cash in there. Real estate agents use these. They usually use a whole life, which isn't as cool as the IUL because it doesn't have a long-term care and it doesn't build as much cash. But people use these kind of policies. They take the cash out, buy a house, flip the house, put the cash back, pay it back. You have a hole in your roof, you could take a loan at 4%, pay it back 4%, right? Not 8%. So they're always a few percent above inflation, and inside of them, the insurance company buys 20, 30-year options. So they're investing in the long haul. It's not just a short little thing. And that it's not your money that's being invested, so you never lose your principal. That is the neatest thing about everything that I have. Whatever I show you, there's a floor on it. When the market crashes, your money's still there. And I'm back on the annuities. Not one person ever lost $1 in an annuity in the Great Depression. And that is why I got into it 30 years ago, because I foresaw the times we're in now. And it wasn't that I foresaw it. It's just been prophesized and talked about. And look at how stupid people are doing in the government and what's going on with the money thing. It's headed that way, okay? So I don't like losing money, and I wanted to be safe. And then I realized so does everybody else. And Christina, you're my dream. You're the one that I wished I could have been your age. Now I'm going to cry to do what I'm showing you, because I learned about it at 58. I was 58 years old. Oh my gosh. You know what? I started mine at 64. Now, I had to put in a lot more cash, right? But I'm in excellent health. I was in elite health. I'm still in elite health. So the cost of insurance is based on health, right? Not age so much. It does affect you, of course, but that your age and your longevity will allow you to actually build so much more cash that you'll have a fabulous income. That's tax-free.
Thank you.
Isn't that cool?
Very exciting. Very
Yeah.
exciting. Great. So let's wrap up because Kris, thank you so much. You have enlightened us to what's possible and not only for ourselves and for our families, but also for our clients, for the people that we know. And all we need to do is just take one next step. And thank you for the generous opportunity to do a strategy session with you that we can talk about, the things that we're concerned about, but we don't have to do it all. We can just
Right.
take one next step.
Right.
So yeah, so that's my biggest takeaway from our time together is just take one next step. And thank you so much for sharing all of the wisdom. And you did it in such a beautiful way, too. It was really super good. I mean, world class Hollywood
Yeah.
caliber presentation. So thanks to your team as well. I know
Yes.
you have a great, strong team behind you. So
That's right.
thank you. Good. Yes. Who else would like to share your biggest takeaway and your
Yeah,
appreciation of Kris Miller?
yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Kris, and thank you for allowing me to participate in the session. I really thank you, Kathleen. Yes, one of the takeaways is I'm glad that you mentioned about Christina's youth because that's so important. I remember way back when I was that age as well that I just like took all of this information in, and that's how I've been able to move along in my life, taking advantage like the annuities and the IULs and all that. But one of the aspects right now being married, and I think that I'm so glad that you mentioned is that one is never too young or too old to have a living trust. and to have just a trust itself that will where you can put everything in, and that's so critical. So I'm glad that you incorporate that in this presentation as well, because that's one area that I know as a married woman, it was just really challenging to get my husband to make sure that we did that. I always, had that when I was single. I always had that when I was like, it really pushed when I was getting married and so on. But had a hard time. The issue that of death will come at some point in time. And I was like, hey, death is part of life, and that's it. We got to prepare. So
Right.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. It's so important, really. And because people don't understand it, then they're scared of it. And you think if I do a trust, I did my trust in my 40s. It didn't mean I was going to die. But we kind of have to kind of think like that. So that's a great point. Thank you.
Thank you, Kris. My big takeaway is this universal life insurance direction, and the whole idea of like what I have in investments and retirement is not actually as much as I think I
Right.
have. And so so thank you for that. Those are my takeaways. And Kris, I just want you to remember, there's so many women out there who really they don't understand or know or have access or are given permission or empowered to be able to even touch or understand their finances. And we're still in a generation, generation older than me and even younger than me, where there are women who are still do not have access to the knowledge of the family finances. And so I really so much appreciate any woman or anyone really doing this work, because we as women are we've got some things that are challenging for us. A, we live longer. B, we make less. C, our access or the idea of financial literacy is we're not empowered to have that. And so I really just want to say how much I appreciate you in making this your calling to be able to help people and families, but also I'm sure like a lot of women really could use this information. And so I really applaud you and appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. And you're so right, because I don't know the stats, but it's a huge number of us here that inheriting, my husband passed away, and then now what? Don't even know where the check. I went through that with my mom and dad, kind of thing, and it's so true. But it's empowering people, and then it can be heartful and not so brutal. So it's the least talked about thing, and that's why I'm charging and getting this create income program out. We'll get it in schools. We'll get it. We'll get it for all the levels. We're going to get it to the veterans. We're going to give it to all people, so everyone will be empowered. And that's my living legacy. And thank you for your kind words, because it gives me inspiration to keep going. Right? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Kris Miller, what a joy to be with you. What a gift you are to us in the C Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, and also to all of your clients, new, current, and past clients, into the world. Thank you so much. What a great, great broadcast. So, if you're watching this as a replay, help us activate Kris Miller and what she's doing. She's doing important work for us. And so thank you. The time is now. Schedule a strategy session with Kris, take the next step, and your future will thank you. So bye for now. Thank you again, Kris.
Thank you,
Loved it.
Kathleen. Bye,
Thank you so much.
Kathleen, thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you. Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.